NFL 2025 preview show. We're going to go down all 32 teams with this quick little segment of 5 to 6 minutes of just reviewing the season. Who's our MVP? What's the expectation? What's the highs and lows? And what are the 3 games that I believe will dictate whether they are successful or they are losers? And we're going to start with the NFC East because by the time it's recording, big news impacting the NFC East and the power struggle. But we're going to give the defending Super Bowl champion the first on the scene. So without further ado, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles as they are on the quest to defend their title of Super Bowl champions. Like most NFL teams in the preseason, no one really played. No one really played at all. So it's really hard to dictate what we have. The biggest thing is quite funny is that the A.J. Brown thing becomes more of an apparent, success of the Eagles as the Tennessee Titans released Burke, the player that they drafted to get to replace A.J. Brown because that was such a glorious thing. And we all know that defending champions that are going into the season, they have a massive target on the back, and Philadelphia already knows 100% that everyone's against them. Not to mention the NFC East, not because of its history of rivalry between those 4 teams, but also they have competition among their own division, especially teams like the Washington Commanders, and who knows what the Giants and what the Cowboys could surprisingly do. Cowboys, not so much, but we'll get to that when we talk about the Cowboys. So, before we get to Philadelphia, there are 3 games that I really want to address when it comes to Philadelphia. Week 11 versus Detroit, that's an NFC matchup that can determine which team is going to be the number 1 seed or even just placement into it. Because I think we can safely say that Philadelphia and Detroit are probably going to be more than likely division winners. So this will determine whether on tiebreakers or determine whether they're going to be who's host, who's away, who even gets the number 1 seed, because I really don't think that means that much in most teams, but I do believe that if you have a player you want to rest, definitely want an extra bye. So Week 11 versus Detroit at Philadelphia. Week 16 at Washington. This is funny enough because I'm just going to throw them both out there. Week 18 versus Washington. So this is another case of Philadelphia going to play their probably most definitive threat of NFC East and maybe just NFC placement coming into playoffs in less than 3 weeks. Week 16 and then Week 18. They're going to be at Washington and then they're going to be home. So whether they want to go with a double swing or they want to get payback, or worst case scenarios, they go 0-2 against that matchup, that can dictate the entire Philadelphia's placement. They could be a team like the Vikings of last year where they get 14 wins, but those losses will probably dictate them into going from being the number 1 seed and a bye to potentially have to go on a road or probably against, a team that's probably not even as great as they are with 14 plus wins. So these are the 3 matchups I think will dictate the Philadelphia's quest forward. And honestly, this does not mean that if they go winless means Philadelphia is champion Super Bowl. It just will be like a question mark and concerns. But we all know when it comes to playoff time, certain teams have aspects of it. And I think Philadelphia really wants to focus on the rest of the team. But you have 2 division foes in the last week of the season where a lot of teams are either getting hot, dealing with injuries, or they're struggling to find an identity to get into the playoffs. Because I believe by the time Week 16 rolls around at Washington, Philadelphia should probably already be looking at potential playoff spots selected, and now they're playing on positioning and maybe even division placement because these 2 teams will probably be in similar boats when that matchup comes. The highest point and the lowest point I have for Philadelphia. The highest I give Philadelphia is a 14-3 season, I believe, with the offensive firepower and a lot of the young players of last year stepping up for the players they lost for. I think Cooper DeJean and Mitchell are going to both be much better corners than they were last year, even though they were rookie and they did major impact on that Super Bowl run. I do believe this will be the case. Saquon Barkley, a running back that I'm not going to say he's going to have the same success, but he's still going to, I think he has proven he has success, God forbidding injury to derail his career or derail his season. But right now, I still believe that. And even if they have a low point, I still think this team is an 11-win team. Philadelphia, in my humblest opinion, is too talented to be under double digits. If they get under double digits, it's going to be because of massive improvement by their opponents or devastating long-term injuries, whether it's season-long or a couple of months-long injuries on certain key players. So to me, Philadelphia, besides having the target on the back, I still believe this team is at least an 11-win At worst, 10 win, but I do believe Philadelphia fans be proud. Philadelphia's going to have at least double-digit wins this year. That's what I feel confidently about. My MVP candidate, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts. Yes, I understand Barkley got all the attention last year, and rightfully so, from Madden cover to basically, showcasing that the Giants were wrong in so many regards. But to me, what we saw in the Super Bowl was Saquon Barkley was so valuable in that he is, but Jalen Hurts was the MVP for a reason. He was the one that was dictating the ball. He was the one that was passing it. He was the one that made up for it when Barkley was surprisingly being well contained for most of the game, but he kept the drive going with his passing and his athleticism. And I think Jalen Hurts is becoming more comfortable being a pocket passer, even though he does have the ability to be athletic. And I think that's going to help his longevity in his career in Philadelphia, but also is going to help him probably get himself more focused moving forward. So as much I understand that people are arguing for Barkley, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to more than cement himself as the Eagles' face of the franchise, at least the offensive side of it, for the next potentially 10 years moving forward. So I'm going to say my MVP candidate is Jalen Hurts. And the verdict for Philadelphia fans, Super Bowl. It's hard to say less than Super Bowl when you guys just won the Super Bowl the year before. I think unless there's a devastating reason, like your star player retires, players get cut, whatever have you, I think everyone that has won the Super Bowl going into their next year of defending it, more than likely should have the notion of you guys should be ready to go back to the Super Bowl again. So to me, Philadelphia fans, I say Philadelphia will be once again competing for a Super Bowl champion again to defend their title, but also to cement that last year was not just a one-time fluke. They went there twice in less than 5 years, and let's see if they can make it consistently, and they become the new face of the NFC here in the 2020s. So to me, Philadelphia, my verdict is Super Bowl bound, if nothing less, Super Bowl appearance. So that's Philadelphia. Next, we're going to talk about the team that I've been wanting to say, but I had to get Philadelphia's its chances first. So next time we'll be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and that is all I want to say about that. So until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and this has been your quick NFL preview of Philadelphia Eagles.